All right, I've got 6:30. This is the Newport Board of Selectmen's meeting for August 1st, 2022. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Mrs. Irwin, would you lead us?
Please join me as I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next up, agenda review. Herb, anything?
Nothing.
Jim? Keith?
No, I'm all set.
Barry?
I'm all set, thank you.
Hunter?
No, thank you.
All right, and we have a non-public next, Hunter? Or can that go to the end?
Well, I think there's some folks here that you can probably attend to their interests in a matter of a short 5 or 10 minutes, and if it's appropriate, then you could do the non-public, so that they won't have to leave the room and come back.
Okay, so
That works.
put off the non-public until later.
A little bit later.
Okay. All right. And before we move on to minutes, Hunter, you have someone you want to introduce to the community?
We do, a couple, but the most pertinent one at the moment is, as you know, Chief Wilmot has left us to return home to Claremont and assume the position as chief there. And we are fortunate enough that when we started looking around, we came to find out that we have a very qualified gentleman living in our midst, Barry Hunter, who currently resides in Leominster. And he was kind and gracious enough to volunteer to come and serve as our interim police chief for the next 2 months, for the record, anyway, for 2 months or so. So he brings to us a whole career, a lifetime career of law enforcement. He, I would venture to guess, has forgotten more about law enforcement than certainly I will ever know, and most of folks in law enforcement. 38 years, I think.
44.
40. I'm sorry, I shortened it 6 years. 44 years. And so I'm very pleased and very comforted by the fact that he has taken the helm for the next immediate few months, and will help our department along and attend to our needs. So I got the sense that he has not met all of you, so I asked him to give us a little time this evening and come and say hello to you, and you have the opportunity to know who he is and put a name to a face. So Chief Hunter is here, and I think one or more members of his family.
My daughter's here.
Just me tonight.
Just one.
So, all right. So anyway, so we did have a formal swearing in last Friday, because that was Brent's last day, and I couldn't have a gap between now and then, so I'm sorry we had to proceed without you at that point. So it's Barry Hunter, our interim chief.
Thank you. I'm Jeff Kessler, I'm chairman of this meeting. Thank you for helping us out.
You're more than welcome. I'm honored. As I told the group the other day, I'm truly honored. I was just saying that. It's a great opportunity for me to give back a little bit to the town of Newport for all they've done for my wife and I since we came to this area in '79. My 2 daughters and my 2 grandchildren. Our life, for the most part, is surrounded around Newport. It's just a little tiny way for me to maybe pay back. So we appreciate your help. Thank you.
His whole family was here, I think they flew in from Maryland.
Yeah, it was
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Quite a draw from last
Yeah.
week.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Nice to meet you.
Oh, nice.
the problem was Hunter had to have lived
Yeah, a
for
few
a while.
times, yeah.
Quite painful.
Sad.
Oh, well, all things come
Barry,
around.
you were at the swearing in, if I
Yes,
remember right.
yes,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
So anyway, so please feel free to reach out to our office if you have any questions, and we'll certainly follow up on the topics of law enforcement matters. And but I think so far so good, and we're confident with Chief's steady hand at the helm that things will go well. We have a good group of guys down at the PD, so it's a good marriage, a good leader, and a good crew. Any questions? Anybody has a Barry or his background? All set?
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Barry.
For coming in.
All right, have a good night. Thank you. I mean, you're welcome to stick around if you have nothing else to do.
No, I got a few things to do.
All right.
Thank all of you, everybody in this room.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Chief.
Thanks, Barry. See you.
All right.
Good to see the SRO back in.
Yeah. Very good.
All right.
I don't know how we're gonna handle 200. You know, it could be nauseating, right?
All right, at this point, let's do the minutes, June 25th. Retreat.
Make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented.
Second
Is
that.
there a second? We have a second. Any discussion? Which minutes are we doing? June 25th.
You're doing the 25th, and then you're doing the retreat, the 18th.
Yeah. All right. Well, June 25th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? All right. Next up, minutes of July 18th. Do I have a motion on those minutes?
So moved.
Second?
And a second. Any changes, discussion, whatever? All right. Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
All abstain.
And I will abstain. Now, you were here, weren't you?
Not for the retreat.
No, this,
That was for the,
Oh, that was not the retreat.
The first one was retreat, this last one was last week.
yeah.
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. Right. So I will vote yes.
Okay, and you want to abstain from the,
Abstain from the first, yeah.
Okay.
The retreat minutes.
all right. And I will abstain from the minutes of July 18th since I was not here. All right. Let's take care of the consent agenda. Back of your agenda, we have tonight's consent agenda. Do I have a motion on that? So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on that?
can you just tell me what LUCT stands for? I probably should know it, but
We had this question a month ago.
well, I'm asking it again.
Oh, no, and I can't remember the answer to that. Is this timber tax?
Yeah, land use.
Land use, another word is timber tax?
Yep, no, it's land use tax, it's somebody coming out of land use.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's, basically the tax for coming out of current use.
Yeah,
Right.
good.
All right? All right. Someone make a motion on that?
We already did and seconded.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Okay. At this point, Hunter, you want to go to the non-public?
Well, there's,
Let's do open forum.
okay,
Take care of that. All right, this is open forum. This is time for anyone who wants to speak to the Board of Selectmen on items that are not on the agenda can do so now. The public can speak on agenda items when we get to them. Anyone interested in speaking to the board at this time? Yes, ma'am. Could you state your name for the record?
I'm Virginia Irwin. I live at 182 Fletcher Road, and I am here to ask you to post a speed limit on my road. We are quickly becoming a trial run for the next Le Mans course. With the increase of business on our road, the traffic is significant, which is not an issue, but the speeds are. When you're coming up Fletcher Road and you get to the Callums and then you sort of crest up to the Bairds, you can really hit it and get to Edgell Road pretty quickly. And then when you come out of Edgell Road, it's a straight shot almost all the way down to the Callums. And it's very fast. It's very fast for that road. It's a class 4, maybe? 5? A class 5, so I think the speed limit is 25 or 30, no?
It would be 30.
35?
35.
Okay, well, at least if we post it, that would be great. Some of it you really shouldn't do more than 35 on, certainly in the beginning, but when you get up close to me, you can go pretty fast. So I would like the road posted. I don't know the protocol for that. I can certainly speak for my neighbor. We'd be happy to pay for the sign if that's signs up, plural, if that's necessary, but
I would think being a town road, it's certainly our responsibility to put a speed limit sign up there, if it's appropriate, and, we're not changing the speed limit, we're just notifying people of it, so, I would have no problem with the town putting a speed limit sign up there just to remind people as to what it is.
The town has the equipment, or at least they did, to do a traffic study, which is measuring the speed, direction of travel. They could tell you exactly when the peak speeding times are, so they could do a more efficient directed patrol. And I think it'd probably be appropriate that the department do a quick speed survey study to be able to give some directed patrol to the problem. But currently, the sign would be helpful. Can't enforce it without that, but
Right,
where residential is 35.
okay. Well, I think the peak times are when we're late for work and when we're getting out, in terms of the real speeders. We do have a lot of off-road vehicles going up to continue on the Class 6 road, but they aren't going terribly fast.
What do you mean by off-road vehicles?
Well, I call them off-road vehicles, those Jeeps that are covered with mud. I think most of them are licensed. We do have some that you would have to go like this. I'm pretty sure they're not licensed, but it's, I would think at the beginning, the end of the day is kind of when it's a little more busy. The traffic is significant and have been tremendous amount of truck traffic, but they're grinding up that hill, so they're not the problem. But
Sign and direct patrol would be well in order.
Hunter?
Yes, we had a similar request posted through our office a few weeks ago. They've already been up and done an assessment or evaluation. We're in concurrence that the sign would be helpful. I expect the sign will be posted this week.
Okay.
They did a study?
Now they're going to do a speed study, but they're going to post the existing speed.
great.
We already know the speed limit's 35, and we have signs.
The speed study is helpful so they could do an efficient enforcement. So if they know every day between 9 and 10 and 3 and 4
Yeah.
are when the speeds increases by them, they can more efficiently do a direct patrol and actually monitor the area of the cruiser. It can actually take some enforcement action, not just a sign and hope that they slow down. But a visible patrol is
Yeah,
usually what solves the issue.
Is there a sign?
there aren't any.
Not at this time.
There's going to be a
No,
sign.
that's the point, there are no signs.
What the sign does is reinforce and remind people as to what the actual speed limit is. I mean, it's a state speed limit for rural areas. So the presence of a sign or not does not give anyone a pass. The sign is there to remind people and such, so.
The department used to share the traffic studies with the residents that complained, because a lot of times it was perception over reality. Perception of high-ranking speed versus reality that there may be only 35 or 38 miles an hour, but the perception is 50. So that's why the study is also important.
Or out on Bradford Road, the perception is 70.
Reality
Well,
is
and
50.
when you redid Blueberry Ridge Road,
Same thing,
that was pretty fast.
same thing.
And
Noticed one day when I was going down that road.
But we
And
get
that's-
past.
That's just human nature. It just, you know you have a bad road, people complain about potholes, it gets fixed and the speeds creep up.
I loved it when nobody did anything to Pollard's Mills Road. It was great when I lived there. Please don't fix my road.
Have you been on Breakneck lately? That's very nice now.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
wouldn't want to
thank
leave
you.
this. Are we going to ask for a speed study? But I don't want to leave it hanging.
We'll see. We'll attend it. We'll look at it.
Yeah, it's,
So it will be done.
Well, not necessarily, but I mean, it'll get attended to if it continues to be a problem. And we're just not gonna, if the speed limit sign helps, there'd be no reason to do the study. And I do want to remind you that, we're flirting with being 25% down on our manpower, and we're
Yeah, okay.
doing the
Yes.
things that are most demanding first.
I can still stand out there with my hairdryer and still work.
and I think from what you said today, I mean, we know the times you're concerned with, so if a cruiser just goes up there in the morning when people are heading for work, or,
We've got all that information.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen.
all right, maybe just park a spare cruiser at the foot of your driveway.
Put it in my driveway, yes, that was a request once when there was some nefarious characters at one end of the road, but that has surpassed as well, so, thank you.
All right, thanks for
Good
coming in.
night.
Good night.
Open forum, anyone else for open forum tonight? All right, moving on. Before we get to communication, Hunter, let's do the non-public. Okay. Take care of that.
You were gonna call on me?
I forgot. All right, open forum, state your name for the record.
John Lang. I just wanted everybody to know that NCTV has moved to Toll School. We moved this last month, or actually this week we're actually moving, but we made an agreement with the school, the SAU, to move because of the renovation. We had originally thought about expanding and becoming part of the CTE, but the state just won't fund us as a program because we don't offer local jobs, even though, of course, remote employment has become a big thing. It's not something that the State Department, the DOE is going to do. So we've developed workplace learning. So we're connecting to the school. We're staying very connected to the school, doing sports, doing our the meetings, doing other events, graduation, all those kinds of things. We're still involved in the schooling, and I'm hoping to be able to work further. I met with Eric Perry this morning about, he's the new CTE interim director, and to discuss making sure that we stay connected for workforce learning so that interns can come to us, people who want to volunteer can come to us, that also people who want to earn students who want to earn community hours can come to us as well. We're only going to be half a mile down the road. We're going to be up on the top floor on the south side, looking out over the common, which is a nice view. We'll actually have windows. We'll have a whole studio space so that we can do recordings there. We'll have one area with as you've seen in the Lou Thompson room, a green screen, but also on the side wall we'll have room to be able to put an actual studio with chairs and a news desk, and to build a real working studio so that people can work there or learn there or whatever. And I like the idea of being closer to town a little bit to help connect better with the community, because we're not just about the school. Obviously, that's part of what we're doing, and I've spent a lot of effort making sure that we've stayed really connected, get more connected to the school than we had been, but to keep NCTV connected to the town, being closer in, people can drop in, people can visit. We'll have a front door instead of way around the back. And like a lot of public access in a lot of towns are in the back ends of their schools, and that can work. So Comcast is coming in this week. They're going to look at how to wire it, but it was already a drop. So we're hoping that it won't take much to...
Well, the drop in the gym, if I remember right. The drop was in the gym, wasn't it?
I'm not sure, because it's long before I was there.
Yeah.
They just told me, I contacted them, and they just told me, yeah, you've already got a drop there. So I said, well, I'm not sure exactly where it is. So with Chad, I've been working that out, and their engineer is going to come tomorrow and set it all up. But we're already moved most of our furniture in. Keith came and helped and got a lot of stuff moved. It was hard for us small guys lifting stuff up 2 floors, but we got them there, and a couple high school students helped. So we've still got our archive to move, all the old stuff there, 25 or almost, actually it's 29 years now. So 29 years of tapes and DVDs and all sorts of stuff that people can come and paw through if they want to look at the history.
Is Handicapped Access?
There is that little kind of slow elevator that goes up the stairs, and it is right at the bottom of our stairs, so we'll have access there for handicap. That was definitely an important feature. And we're coming into the zoning board this month. I'll be here to ask for variance on the sign, so that we can put a sign beside the tall one on the front lawn. If you have any questions?
Need a variance for that sign? Need a variance for that sign?
Right, need a variance.
Okay. Any questions from anyone?
Used to be a big back problem. I hope it's gone.
No, that was Richard.
That's Richard's school. That was
Richard's.
That was on the top floor of Richard's.
I've dealt with bats though in my day. I've had bats in my belfry.
Okay.
Just a
I was
quick
gonna say that.
unassociated question. The rebuild on the tower down at the football field,
Yes.
are you wiring that for NCTV? So that you can get a better...
No, if you look across the field, They built on top of a trailer. They built a little podium there, that's ours. So we're wired in on that side of the field, not the other side,
You're
because,
above the crowd now, because last year when you were
Yes.
kind of behind the crowd,
That's right.
you couldn't see much over there.
so they built that up on top of there, so that's just ours, and we are wired to go live from there. So we can do the football and then turn around and do the field hockey. Plus, we're building our wire all the way around to the very far field, so we can also do soccer live.
You run a wire around there like last fall?
I did run a wire around there last fall, and then we never got around to using it, so we had to take it all down for the winter. We ran 1,200 feet.
Yeah, I saw it out there and wondered whose it was.
Yeah, I wish, it'd be nice if there was a way to bury it, but we can't, so we'll just have to put it out there.
Why can't you bury it?
Well, it cost a lot. It cost a lot to bury it. What they did bury is all the way down to the snack shack,
I would
to the softball field.
I would think there might be a company in town where you perhaps could borrow one of their little trenchers to, basically digs the little tiny narrow hole
Oh, yeah.
and do that. And that would get you the hole, and then you just lay your wire in and fill it back in.
Oh, all right.
That way you could
Ditch
then at the front.
Ditch witch.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'll talk to you later about it.
All right, it's not my forte.
Right, but
Construction is my thing, so, yeah, that'd be great.
And on another subject, is NCTV starting to do a regional collaboration with other?
Oh, yes, that's right, I should mention that.
One question about that, how does that work with our franchise agreement?
So what we've done is we have partnered, well, not really partnered, but we are offering,
Sit down if you want.
sure, we are, well then, that camera's on, it's on. We are offering YCN, an umbrella under our nonprofit. Greg Unren, who runs YCN, people don't know, the YCN name doesn't come that quickly to people's minds, but Yankee Chronicle does. And that's their big program. They do the game of the week, and they handle some sports, and they raise money for that. And they were a for-profit, and they wanted to change into a nonprofit. And so we offered them the umbrella under NCTV, so we're broadcasting through us out into all these other towns as regional public access. So we still has to operate under the rules of the FCC for public access. So there's no advertising, but there are sponsorships. You can do, say this is sponsored by so-and-so, and we're, and we really enjoy their, whatever, their product or whatever, but you can't, there's no call to action.
Right. Does the franchise agreement with Comcast need to be revised to accommodate that broader market or that different market?
No, it doesn't, because it's we're just broadcasting out on Channel 8, and we can connect to whoever we want, especially since now the internet is all engaged in all that. The Comcast and the franchise are all about just our television. So YCN is going to be raising funds and getting sponsorships. So they're actually going to be a fundraising arm for us as well as for them. And they'll be going down through Wilmot, New London, Henniker, Hopkinton, we're hoping Sunapee. So we'll have that whole region, because what we're really trying to do is advance the regional news and information, which seems to have died because all the papers have gone.
So is there going to be like a regional news broadcast?
Well, somebody would have to put that on, but that's what we're hoping in the long term we'll be able to develop.
In the short term, though, people down in Hopkinton can watch this meeting.
They can watch this meeting, they can watch Yankee Chronicle, and they can watch some other stuff that we put on. So they're going to be basically, Channel 8 will be putting on a lot of the regional stuff, and Channel 10 is our Newport channel, because we don't have enough to put on to fill 2 channels. If Hopkinton starts to watch our meetings and says, hey, how come they can have meetings, what about us? And they say, what about us? We can say, well, here's how you do that. You send us, you record your meetings, send them to us, and we'll put them on. Or if you want to do them live, we might be able to find a time, that'll accommodate, because we can broadcast live out of both channels now.
Right, and actually people can always watch through the internet anyway.
Right. And so our broadcast is everywhere as far as that's concerned, and we'll be broadcasting on YCN's, because we can embed right onto their live, onto their websites. So we're really trying to build a regional network. that help for some longevity as much as anything else.
Keith, anything to add? You're the rep to that group.
No, actually, I went to the meeting for that, and I was pretty interested in the whole thing. And I think it's a good thing for the NCTV, and a good thing for our town.
And it gets Newport's name out there in the wider community.
And I think that interconnecting the communities is something that we really need to start thinking about it regionally anyway, not just in the county, but in our area, whether it's just to the east, or we can also connect to Charlestown and to Claremont and all those other communities as we move along, depending. But Claremont has its own public access.
Right. And looking regionally, something I've mentioned before, as these franchise agreements come up for renewal, a lot of them come up at the same time.
Right.
And if you're doing regional work and broadcasting, perhaps looking at more of a regional franchise agreement to give basically, the region, I guess more strength in arguing with Comcast instead of rule Newport, rule this town, rule that town.
And some of those towns are broadcasting through TDS, which means that they're competing with Comcast, so Comcast might prefer to help boost their own support by giving us those kinds of things. Also, I had heard from several towns that when we renegotiate, we might be able to get high def as well, get a high def station here so that we're not downgrading our signal so it looks all fuzzy, even though we've got a perfectly good digital signal. It gets downgraded as soon as it goes out on our television. So that will be a good plus that we'll be able to do in the next couple of years, I'm hoping. All right.
Anything else? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Local sports and high def.
Sit at home and popcorn.
All right. We'll make this one comment. Back when my daughter played field hockey in college, games we didn't get to, a lot of times they would broadcast it. They'd have one camera in the middle.
Yeah.
They were playing right in front, you could see them. But at the ends of the field, they were like little ants down there. And you knew you got a goal because one set of little ants all raised their little front. That was the old days. All right, moving on.
Wasn't that long ago,
Yeah. No, but the technology has just jumped ahead. All right. Before we start our stuff, let's take care of the non-public session. I have a motion to go into non-public session under RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2A, employee, C, reputation, and E, litigation.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Barry? Okay. Keith?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Herb?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes also. And who do we need for these, and which order do we need to do these?
Well, I would ask that you take up the issue of employee, and it's actually, we're going to be discussing the terms of a contract. Take those two first.
Okay.
And I'd ask the board to,
Is that litigation and employee?
yeah,
hard getting back up.
Especially when it's coming from season.
Yes, indeed.
There's a cushion there if you want to sit on the cushion.
I'm all right, it's just my knee.
Power button again.
We should hold.
There you go.
Yep, all right. All right, and we're back. Newport Board of Selectmen at 8:12. Next up is Communications, Board of Selectmen. Herb.
I'm all set.
Jim?
I just want to mention the block party, what a great success that was, and what an awesome turnout.
Good.
Well done by everybody that participated with that.
I was out of town, so I missed it, but I understand there were some parking issues.
Yeah, there was quite an issue with the town common, as there typically is with that, so it'd be nice to see if we could come up with a solution for that long-term, what that's gonna look like, or, but that was the only issue I saw. There was, parking is always such a premium downtown, especially with these larger events, that it's challenging.
So if I can comment to that, prior to Mr. Burrows joining the board, there's been some periodic conversation along those lines. We think the least intrusive approach to that would be the installation of curbing on Park Street. There will be people who will jump that curb. It's not a foolproof, kind of thing, but the average person will get the message and probably reduce that abuse pretty
Would
considerably.
that be curbing that would be set back about, say, 6 or 7
Well, that
feet, so
would be
there'd
a
be
question.
parallel parking on that left side?
That would be a
Double.
question as to whether or not you want to encourage that. At one point prior to your arrival, I did propose curbing with a couple of cutouts for like food trucks to park, a couple of 3 places on that side of the road. So we could do any number of those things.
Wasn't there a sense of the meeting discussion about that a number of years ago at town meeting, where there was discussion, board input discussion on options for parking down there?
There was a consideration of parking at the north end, and that was opposed.
One of the issues with pushing it back 5 or 7 feet is the root structure of the trees along Park Street. The root structures come all the way up to the edge of the road. And
So if they did a gravel or bluestone or something along that line, not paving it, but a gravel.
That would help, but you'll still get compaction. And by doing that, of course, and this may be your intent, you're signaling that it's okay to park on the side of that road. And if that's your intent, that's fine.
I only mention that just because it was an observation that I
Yeah.
made, and it's it's nothing new, it's been going
Yeah.
on for years.
The next alternative, which is not quite as intrusive, would be the strategic placement of some upright granite posts in various places with signs attached to them, of course, that would say no parking. That's not too terribly intrusive.
We
Then
already
you-
have no parking signs there.
Yeah, and then you get to the next level, which would be more like, like wooden landscape guardrails. That we could have an opening that would be just short of the width of the car, so you couldn't cut through, but it'd be wide enough for people to walk through, go back and forth, take.
Well, we're not zoomed off.
Yeah, okay, I'll attend to that. So it would allow plenty of pedestrian and people with carts and things like that coming and going. And then you can escalate from there, but it's a no-brainer for us. It would take nothing but a week or two's preparation, so whenever you're ready, we'll...
People may be concerned because if they're at an event there, then they can't pull up to unload, but
That's
then
the
the
issue.
people on the Main Street side manage to do it with the curb there, so.
Yeah, the curb is pretty effective on the Main Street side. There's a few people that jump it, but...
But most of them manage to unload their stuff and load it back up
Right.
from that side without.
So I just leave you with the thought that we're ready to do it whenever you guys get to the point where it's annoying you enough.
Yeah,
Enough
I mean,
so we'll
I
take
just
it.
brought it up because I think I saw in some comments,
Yeah.
I think.
But otherwise, fantastic event,
Yeah.
well done by all.
All right, anything else?
I'm good.
Keith?
I'm all set.
Very good. I'm good. All right, I forgot what I was gonna say, so.
That's okay.
Yeah. So I think, yes, here's something I was thinking of, and actually, I think I mentioned it to Hunter a while ago, but he didn't remind me again. But I think I got thinking of this, at the farmer's market, we have the Republican Party on one side and the Democratic Party on the other side. And how would the board feel if, say, if we had a booth at the Apple Pie Craft Fair where people could come up and maybe meet a selectman or meet a town official, just staff a town booth during the day, You know, because people can watch us on TV, and we don't have that many people come here, but someone sees us on the common at a booth, they may say, yeah, I got it. Maybe some public outreach, maybe something that, just a thought.
I think it's a good thought.
I like the idea.
Throw a pie at a selectman? Throw a pie at a selectman?
No.
Feed a pie to a selectman, I'd go with that.
You made some money off that.
Yeah.
But no, just, maybe a, town of Newport booth, and it doesn't have to be just us, and maybe, I don't know, whoever else. But I think it would be good to have at least one selectman there during the course of the day.
Yeah, I like that, Jeff. Good idea.
It's more public
I think
outreach.
I'm out of town that day.
All those in favor of nominating Jeff for the day?
I may be out of town too. I'll have to check.
No, I would happily pull a few hours out there for
Yeah, I
that.
would too.
Me too.
Okay.
Probably gonna go anyway with my wife.
I go first thing in the morning to get my pies, so,
Okay, we'll set that up.
and see if there's a cookie drive. Yeah, see if we can get a discount rate.
Got any old Girl Scout cookies left? We could stop there. Get those. We probably got boxes.
My wife hoards them.
Yeah.
They appear out of nowhere.
I volunteer for the festival anyway, so I'll check with them.
Yeah, okay, it was something I thought of a while
That's a
ago.
good idea.
It's just, wouldn't hurt.
I had one quick current event that I wanted to ask Hunter about, concerning, I see the state down here working on their digging again.
Yeah.
That's to connect the flooded basement
Yes.
runoffs.
Yeah.
It's because they screwed up the initial work.
Was there initial problem, we had a lot of flooding during the last storm, that heavy downpour that we had down by the library, I guess in that area.
Yeah, that's a different problem.
Yeah.
Is that still state?
Part of that
Runoff
problem,
there?
yeah, that's, part of that problem is that they still have, if you notice, they pull the cover on the drain and they put a piece of geotextile underneath it. And they're doing work to keep dirt from going into the drain and clogging up the drain. So they've left that piece of fabric in there, which slows down the drainage of water. We brought it to their attention. It's about like.
As I recall, that drain goes from there all the way down Belknap
That's
Avenue
right.
before
Yes.
it dumps.
Yeah.
And it goes from like a 12 or 14 inch down to like a 6.
Yeah.
And
So
you
it
can actually
throttles
see it
itself.
bubbling up from, on Belknap Avenue when it gets backed up, so.
Yeah, so that's a different project. But this one apparently was either disconnected or overlooked or whatever, so they've gone back in to reconnect it, that block.
Okay.
I got lots of people doing it.
And the latest word is the state's gonna pave over their work next spring, right?
Spring, yes. So we have been toying with the idea of putting a tap in from one of the Main Street sewer lines,
Yeah.
just to bring it onto the common,
Yeah.
so that in case in the future you ever need it, it'll be capped on the common end and won't have to dig up the road
Very good.
in an opportune moment.
Right, and the state's gonna pave over it in the springtime anyway.
That's our understanding, yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be curb to curb. We're gonna probably get stuck with the painting costs. Because they don't like to do painting,
You mean crosswalks,
the whole painting.
whole thing.
Yeah, because they're like, parking spaces are not our
Has
responsibility.
anyone pointed out the intersection
Yep.
down here at the light?
Multiple times.
Okay.
It falls into the same category, that's not our thing. Our job is to get vehicles from point A to point B as quickly and with as few interferences as possible. They don't like crosswalks.
Never mind the pedestrians and what should be the crosswalk.
Pedestrians are not their thing.
All right.
If I could just, I was happy to see the other day, they had a thing on our local channel, not, the Channel 9, the top 10 or top 5 places to get Italian sandwiches. And Corona's Market was number 5.
I saw a comment about that, I didn't see the original article.
Yeah.
So actually, so congratulations to Cronus.
Yeah,
They're not well famous for nothing.
yeah. So their sign is true.
Yeah.
The people have spoken.
Hunter,
Yes, sir.
perhaps that would be a good article for the next Newport Times
What's that?
about Cronus Market.
Oh, yeah, sure.
The history of that and the fact that their states were
Just leave out the fact you want crustier bread.
I'm sorry, I'm a product of where I was born and bred. You know,
But that may be
excuse the
a
pun, but
good article there.
different kind of bread.
All right, anything else for Selectmen? Anything?
No, I don't believe so. Everything else is as would be expected.
Okay, abatement request. Bambi DeFilippis, is that it, or?
Philippus, yeah.
Yes, Faith River Church, 231 North Main Street. Okay. This is for water and sewer, is that what I remember? Let's see it here.
It's right here.
3 pages in from back,
Ah, okay.
4 pages in.
So, Mr. Chairman, if I can just summarize for the sake of expediency, so
Sure.
this young lady doesn't have to sit around. If I understand correctly, there was an unexpected leak in one of their toilets.
Yeah.
Undetected because it was largely during a time when they don't occupy the church. Resulted in a combined bill of about $1,825. Their typical bill for a similar season, similar period of time combined would be about $178. So it's a $1,600 difference. But because the board took the position it did for the last 2 residents, or water sewer users, I felt it was only appropriate that it come back here for your adjudication, so to speak.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Well, no, we want to hear. Or do you want to?
So this is a leaky toilet, or? sink?
Yeah, so, I guess it just it was running, you know, it wasn't leaking, it was running, and, it's in the church house. So in the wintertime, we really don't use that building because it's extra heat, you know. And you don't really realize how much water has gone through until you get your winter bill, which was like in February. And then when we saw this ridiculous number, we're like, well, something's wrong, obviously. So we were able to find out, ascertain it was leaking, and they're getting that fixed. And then there was a procedure of trying to find out what could be done. As you know, we've been in that building since, I think, 1990 as a church, completely nonprofit. None of our pastors take a salary. We don't get any grants. Everything that we do is done through donations and tithes and offerings that come in. I like to think that we're a player in the town as far as we have programs for people who are struggling with addictions. We put on the Living Nativity we've done for many years. We had the Faith Fest on the Common for many years up until COVID. And I guess just basically, and I understand from your email that because it was running and running through, it wasn't just running out into the lawn, you know, useless water did go through the sewer system, that the protocol is that it's going through the sewer system.
Yeah.
So I'm really just here to just ask for mercy, some leniency, some kind of anything to help us out. You know, that kind of money is just going to play havoc on what we're able to do in the church for the community. Obviously something we didn't expect, something that's been taken care of, unfortunate something. I don't know, it's just kind of sitting on your lap and this is just my last ditch effort to see if there's some kind of arrangement that the town could make to help us out.
Jim?
You said 2 things, a leaking, or was it, you also said it was left on or leaking?
It's, I guess the valve doesn't shut off completely or something. I'm not the plumber. I wasn't involved in that part of it.
Running.
Basically, it was just kind of trickling, I guess.
That's quite a trickle.
I guess so,
Their
yeah.
typical usage is more like 1,000 gallons, and this was 82,000 gallons.
Yeah. So I don't know when it started, but again, the bill, we didn't, maybe there was a heftier bill just prior to that, and we might have thought, you know, hey, we planted flowers, and this past year, we planted some shrubbery and stuff, so maybe it was some extra water from that, maybe it was combined in that, I don't know. It just, we didn't realize that there was like something's up
Yeah.
until we got that
But you understand, if you're dealing with flowers and stuff, you're not dealing with the sewer.
True,
Here, you were dealing with the sewer.
I
So
guess
you
so.
got hit from the
Twice.
water, and you got hit
And
from the
sewer.
sewer.
Right, well, because it didn't flood the basement, we assumed it went down the sewer and not out into
Oh,
the
yeah, I
ground.
would've
Right,
said
there was no
that, yeah.
flood in the,
Right.
I mean,
so-
typically our protocol is if we have usually a smaller leak, we're happy to abate the portion of the bill that relates to the sewer usage if it didn't go down the sewer. If it
Right.
ends up on the floor, goes out a French drain or a floor drain or out onto the ground or something,
Yeah.
we can abate that because that's pretty obvious logical
Yeah.
thinking. But this one went down the drain and through the sewer system.
Anyone heard?
I guess again, as with the last couple of cases that we've had similar to this, we didn't want to set a precedent. And I understand the problem. Also, as a landlord that I am, you have to watch out for these kind of problems and take care of them as quickly as possible. I realize you say you don't use that much during the winter. Apparently there is some use, because our last reading showed 1,000 gallons used over the winter this year.
yeah, we've had Bible study in it this winter. We decided to do that.
So-
But typically we don't.
It just
I mean, you
seems-
keep it at whatever, 50 degrees.
But there must have been somebody at some point in and out of that building, you know, it
Oh,
wasn't completely closed down for the winter, so somebody had to have noticed that it was running.
Well, I don't know about that, but, I mean, it's a toilet that doesn't get used, so unless you're standing over the toilet, you're not gonna hear a little trickle, but, I mean, that's neither here or there. It ran, you know.
I don't know,
It ran.
1,000 gallons, I think, is a little more than a trickle, but,
I don't know how.
with that.
Nothing was flooded.
Nothing was flooded.
No.
I'd also like to point out that with our water source system, it's a user-paid system. The people that use it pay for it. This money, this water that went down the sewer all had to be treated. Whether it was clean water or not, it still had to go through treatment.
I understand.
And somebody's gonna pay for that. If you don't pay
Like I
for
said, it's my last-ditch effort to see if the town was able to do anything. I completely understand all the issues involved. Just hoping that, you know, the town might be able to see that we're in a position where we don't have, I mean, obviously we'll come up with the money, but we're all nonprofit, no grants, we give to the community, we don't take from the community. Long-term here in the community, and just asking to see if there's some merciful acts that can be established. And that's just where we're at.
I agree with Herb's position where this is precedent you're setting. Two things, well, three things that I think of on the contrary to that is that, one, the type of use, the infrequent use or recognizing of the issue. So I wouldn't give you a full pass, but I would be inclined to a break of some small sort, some mercy in some respect.
I was thinking that possibly, because it's a non-profit, is there a way we could give a pass in the way of a donation? As a donation?
No, we don't get any benefit.
We don't get into that one.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know, I'm asking the question.
Well, they're a church.
Yep.
We can't give donate.
yeah, I would almost say they fall more into the charity than nonprofit category. Barry? Thoughts?
We've established a precedent. We've done it with two other people. But I don't want to, go to hell because we didn't have that.
There was all.
Like Jim said, you can be inclined to try to help out. don't think we can help at all on the sewer. And Herb made, I think, excellent points, that it's, you know, it goes in, it's gonna be treated. That's a cost. So I was looking at the water. I don't know what to say. You know, I don't like to break precedent. I really don't, so I guess that's why.
I think that's the hardest part about what we're facing is
The line would form right behind you.
The what?
The line would form right behind you.
The line for what? I'm not-
Everyone coming in asking for
Oh,
my
okay.
abatement.
every time something.
Right, but not everyone is,
So my point is, the line forms with you, but it also is different than everybody else in your use. So it's-
Yeah, not to be, I know I'll be construed as being a bad guy here, but the two precedent-setting cases that you had in the recent past were 5 times this amount of money. I mean, they were, I think one was 11,000, and I think the other one was 13,000 or something. So,
And we held firm.
Huh?
We held firm.
yeah, that's the problem. You got these really, really big. The biggest one was a leaky toilet at an unoccupied business that was up for sale. So that's the challenge.
So I guess, maybe I'd have to tell you, I've got to stand on the precedent we have created.
now if we do that, do we offer a payment plan? Work with them?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. We do it all the time.
That would probably be my second point. It took quite a while to get an answer back on whether there would be any help. And so now things are in a state of, I don't know what it's called.
Limbo?
There's all these extra interests and
Yeah,
whatever. and-
we can fix all that sort of stuff. There's no problem.
Yeah, payment plan would definitely be helpful. Like I said, we don't,
Well, I think we
we
could,
exist on donations and,
I think we could deal with payment plan.
And we can certainly waive
Waive the
fees and
fees.
interest.
I'd be in favor of at least that.
And one that goes along with, I mean, churches are all having a hard time now. I mean, they're closing
they're
right and
shut
left.
down
Yeah.
because of COVID.
Yeah.
And we're grateful to still be viable.
Yeah, we can make all those arrangements. We work with the church and work out our payment arrangements.
So does someone want to make a motion on whether to
I would
grant a
I'd make
waiver or not grant a waiver, and maybe any other?
I'd make a motion that we do not grant the waiver, but we do set up a
Waive fees and penalties and
waive fees and penalties and set up a payment plan.
authorize that
That
payment
is
plan to be set
helpful
up.
to the church.
Authorize the payment plan to be set up. We don't set it up, the town. Hunter does.
Yep, we can do that.
Is that good?
Sounds good. Second.
Well, we got a second. Any other discussion on this? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining? Sorry we couldn't do more for you.
Well, I do appreciate that much, and I understand, it's just one of those awkward things, and I figured it couldn't hurt to
Yeah.
bring it up and see
I like
what.
what
And so
what
just
Kim
so you
said, the
know-
line would form behind you.
I know,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
And being here tonight, talking to us, perhaps someone in the community may come up with a donation to help.
That's possible.
So just so you know, the position you've taken is consistent with where our practice is, so
Right.
that
Yeah.
precedent is perfectly
Excellent.
in keeping with what we typically do.
Everyone is now home checking their toilets, make sure it's not.
Well, I'll offer
That's
to you,
a real thing.
because I worry about this on my own. There's some pretty neat gizmos out there that you can have put into your systems that will monitor your water consumption. And will send you an email if there's an unusual amount of water being used
Yeah.
at an unusual time. They're sophisticated enough so they actually learn your behaviors. So if you have water on a Thursday, when for the last 6 months you don't typically have water on a Thursday, it's going to flag it and it's going to send you a message.
Somebody just-
Someone will turn the water off for you. The
Oh.
mechanical system will actually shut the water off and then send you a message saying the system has shut down, it's detected an unusual leak. And
Well, even just an
they're-
alarm would be great, and someone just mentioned to me, because we just put in an alarm system with Simply Safe.
Yep.
And someone was saying too, we got to talking about, what if the oil runs out and you don't
Yep.
know, you're not there, and they said that the thing can monitor
Oh,
your
yeah, yeah.
thermostat and all
I
these
actually have
things,
that
so.
system, and it'll do low temperature, it'll do water on the
Right.
floor, so if you have a burst pipe and it fills, covers your floor,
Right.
and it works.
So
I've
we'll have
personal
to
experience.
implement that.
And it's cheap money. The other
It's
system.
not cheaper than this.
Oh, yeah, I mean, the system that'll shut your water off for you is like $400 or $500. So, I mean, it pays for itself in 1
Right.
week. It's, if I was, you know, owned a multifamily housing, or if I was had investment housing, everyone would go right into this building, because you never know what's going on.
And if we had invested in smart water meters, a major six-figure cost, we'd be able to monitor that and pick up those discrepancies.
Right, but I will tell you, the staff here is very diligent about that. If Amy spots a crazy number, she will often call the property owner and say, hey, something's going on. Or she'll ask the guys to go over and check the meter, because something's
Yeah.
not right.
I will say in my house, I always wait until I hear the toilet go silent.
Same thing here.
It's
Yeah.
like, even though I just replaced the inner workings on that one, I still wait for it
Yeah.
and stuff. And it's like, because I know occasionally when I don't, it's like, I hear water running. Sure enough.
Something's up. Yeah, when you wait for the bill and then it's a little too late, it's like,
Yeah.
ah.
Tammy, who's your daughter?
Heather, you know Heather.
Yes, I do.
And Brianna.
And
Linda.
Brianna.
You know all
Brianna's
of
a
them.
word, yeah.
Yeah, you know all the kids in town. Well, they're not all
A
kids
lot of
now,
them.
I'm
No,
sorry.
they're not
Age is
kids.
showing.
No,
Well, thank you very much, I
Okay.
appreciate you.
Thanks for sticking out.
thank you.
And so we'll be in touch about
Yeah.
a payment plan
Yeah,
or
we'll give you a
something.
call and you guys can work it out.
Awesome, thanks, have a good night.
Night.
Okay, I believe we did B, the proposed pilot
Yeah.
agreement. So the next question would, moving on to.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, I do need a motion from the board on the pilot.
I put it on action.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do it here.
All right, thanks.
What's that? You need a vote?
Yeah.
Well, eventually, but you said you put it on action, so I'm good.
Yeah, or we can do it here. I didn't announce it, so we'll do it here. In non-public, we heard our proposal there. Do you want to just, before we vote on it, pretty much summarize what we discussed and agreed to on this contract?
Yeah,
So we vote on it?
the pilot, and it's, boiled down to its.
Which is a payment in lieu of taxes.
Yeah, a pilot is a payment in lieu of taxes, and the state statute allows for, or actually encourages municipalities to enter into pilots for solar development, because if you tax them on the same basis that you tax everybody else, they would never be able to turn a profit, they'd never be able to be viable financially. So they encourage favorable tax arrangements for these kinds of developments. Norwich Solar Technologies has made a proposal to put a 1 megawatt system out on the property, essentially to the rear of Thunderbird, out off of Sunapee Street. And so we have proposed that we set a minimum of $4 per kilowatt with a normal upside of 10% of their annual revenues. And so we're writing up the final language on a pilot to that effect. It's for 25 years. It will sell the power 1 megawatt to the grid and to other non-municipal customers. And so we're asking the board to allow us to finalize that agreement, and upon finalization, reflecting those terms that I just outlined to you, authorize me to sign it on your behalf.
Want to make that motion?
Can I just
have a question?
ask a question?
Yes, sir.
You just said something, non-municipal.
Yes, I did, on purpose.
You gotta be, but that doesn't mean the general public.
No, non-municipal. The two arrays that pilots we have now are for solar power produced on land that the town of Newport owns, and the town of Newport purchases all of that power. So this would be the precedent for solar arrays on non-municipal land, selling the power to non-municipal, not the town of Newport customers, like the grid or even the school district or other commercial consumers. And this would be the kind of threshold precedent for everybody else. Our precedent is that in order to be non-tax, they get tax exemption from us because we consume all the power that's on our property.
Right.
So to get that same consideration, they'd have to find another piece of town property and sell us all the power. And unless you determine or get to the point where you want more power, that's not going to happen. So that's a precedent that's kind of blocked off from a practical perspective. Now, I will tell you that as the design for the wastewater treatment plant is advancing, it is clear that the new wastewater treatment plant will consume markedly or meaningfully more power than our current plant. And we have the engineers on that project communicating with the power array engineers so that we can add to the array that we have behind the wastewater treatment plant to produce the extra power that we need when that is needed, because that power doesn't go to the grid. It comes right into the facility and goes behind the meter right into the operations.
Good.
So hopefully when they're done, they'll be ready to expand that array and take care of that need. So we'll still be a net zero, the Sunshine Town net zero municipality.
So I'd make a motion that we authorize the town manager to enter into negotiations with Noah's Technologies for a pilot program and further authorize the town manager to sign documents associated with that pilot program.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining?
Thank you.
All right, before we go, we do have one action item here, which I have to bring up. We have a request, let's see, a request to abate $7,181 in taxes for the Episcopal Church on a 2 Cedar Street. And we haven't decided whether to grant or deny it. And what we did with the library, because I think this is a similar case, they were late in getting their paperwork to us, the Episcopal Church.
Yes.
And the library was also, and in that case, we denied it, right? But they can always appeal for an abatement later, or
Right.
are we authorizing the abatement here?
Right, because you're getting into the territory of granting a charitable exemption. The request was for charitable exemption.
Right.
So you denied that, but left the door open for them to appeal or abate the taxes without you having to rule on whether or not they're charitable or not.
Right.
So they will come in and they will seek an
Okay.
abatement.
This is basically is asking for an abatement, right here.
Yeah.
That's what it says. What's the pleasure of the board, to grant the, no one checked yes or no. You signed it, but you didn't say whether you want to grant the abatement or not, or the intent is to grant it, that's what,
I understood it as being consistent with what we do with the library.
which would be deny it, correct?
No, you deny, are they asking here for the abatement? They
Yes.
jumped ahead a step?
Well,
Asking you to authorize it here,
yeah, the abatement,
the abatement. The library had not come in for the abatement yet, have they?
no.
Okay. What did the library do? Just want to see if we would waive it or something? Is that the term?
They wanted to waive the
Yes,
tax,
this is asking for an abatement.
Yeah. which is part of what the library did.
No, they haven't asked for the abatement yet.
They could do, I mean.
Yes.
Could do.
The pleasure of the board is to grant this abatement,
I
correct?
think in the case of the library, it was an oversight, and in this case, it was a
Oversight,
transfer of ownership or
position or something.
yeah, whatever.
Okay.
You know,
And the books didn't get,
yeah, an oversight
yeah,
again.
yeah. Different kind of oversight, but yeah, an oversight.
Are we in favor of granting it?
An abatement.
Yes. Want to make that motion, so we have it? There. Grant an abatement.
I would move that we grant an abatement to the Protestant Episcopal Church in New Hampshire on 2 Cedar Street in Newport
And the amount?
in the amount of $7,181 taxes.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye?
Opposed? Opposed? Any abstaining?
I'll abstain. Nothing, I'll abstain.
311.
And who seconded that?
I did.
Okay, we do it so quietly, Jim.
I did. For the tape.
All right. Is there a a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right,
So can I go ahead and look to September for a joint meeting of the
Sure.
school board?
Yeah, that would be good.
yeah.
Don't do it on the first week, I got a week away.